Supply chain management, everything you need to know. Everyone must already know this, but the goods that are in circulation in the market did not magically come out of thin air. Shocking, but they were once individual pieces brought together to form what you see on store shelves. This tedious yet satisfying journey is known in the industry as supply chain management. Before we go into the details and the tedious process of doing so, let us start simply and ask the question, what is supply chain management? But first, if you're new here, consider subscribing to this channel to continue receiving great weekly videos on consulting. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you can get informed every time I publish a new video. As mentioned, supply chain management is the process of turning individual raw materials into the goods that are being sold to the public, and that includes the logistics of how this is being supplied to the public. It is a floor-to-shelves kind of thing, and it is for this reason that those who are involved in the process include 1. Producers, you. 2. Vendors. 3. Warehouses. Necessary if you have a supply, but doesn't need to be shipped out just yet. 4. Transportation companies. The ones who are responsible for either bringing your products to the stores or delivery companies that bring them directly to customers' homes. 5. Distribution centers. 6. Retailers. We can even add the customers into the chain, since they are the end user and the one responsible for continuing the cycle, because without the money they pay with, we would not have the necessary finances to continue producing the products. Components of supply chain management. Simple as it may seem so far, supply chain management requires close attention to detail, some of which are overlooked because, as mentioned, of how simple it sounds. First, we talk about the components involved in the management of the supply chain. 1. Planning. It can be argued as the most important one of them all because of how it encompasses all that comes after it. Planning involves coming up with the necessary steps to help streamline getting the products to the consumers, such as outlining who to approach for necessary items for the chain, like raw material supplier, transportation, storage options, and who is responsible for sourcing these and how much the organization is willing to pay for each service. Every necessary detail needs to be laid out in the planning phase, including contingencies if Plan A fails. However, what is often overlooked during the planning phase, which has caused so many to go backwards and forwards in the process, is looking at the data. Specifically, the demand and supply of the products that you produce. As a business venture, it is your responsibility to know how much the public is requiring, because you do not want to end up with so much surplus of your produce, because that will just cost your company even more down the line because of storage, and others might eventually go bad, especially if they are perishables. 2. Sourcing. At its core, this is looking for vendors who are capable of providing you with the raw materials that you require, which are going to be used to produce the goods that you are selling to your customers. There are 2 things that need to be taken into consideration when choosing the appropriate vendors: quality of the raw material and cost efficiency and cost effectiveness. Obviously, the quality is necessary because it helps translate to better produce, although the ability of those who make them is as important. However, because of technology taking over what man once did by hand, it is all the more important to ensure what the vendors provide is top quality. Cost effectiveness and cost efficiency can only be measured by the time as to when they can deliver the raw materials, which is very important, especially for perishables. Additionally, it is vital because if the delivery of their products is delayed, delivering yours to the stores will also be delayed. 3. Production. This is when these raw materials are converted into the final products sold in markets. However, to efficiently do so means that all components prior need to be on point, especially schedule-wise, to ensure that your supply is on time. It is also at this stage that it might be beneficial to take your customers' comments and suggestions into consideration. Additionally, quality testing and packing also happens at this stage of the process. 4. Locations. There is a saying in business and marketing that goes, location, location, location. And it is true. Location is a huge deal in businesses, especially that it can determine how much you are going to be paying for raw materials, because the further you are away from any vendor, the more expensive it is because of the travel they need to do just to hand it over. In a way, it is essential for cost efficiency and efficiency in managing your supply chain. 5. Returns. Little might know this, but how easy returning products is still part of the supply chain management process. Although it deals more with post-production and delivery, being able to provide this service gives you the opportunity to build a working relationship with customers. This ensures that the cycle continues because happy customers ensure continued patronage. As you can see so far, there is a lot that goes into the delivery of products to the market, especially when your goal is to meet customer demand and provide customer satisfaction. Types of supply chains. Part of being able to lead or manage any system is to familiarize yourself with the style of management you want to implement. All in all, there are 6 types of supply chain management that you can count on, and all 6 has been well established in the logistics industry, and this includes the following. 1. Continuous flow models. 2. Fast chain models. 3. Efficient chain models. 4. Custom configured models. 5. The agile models. 6. The flexible models. However, all these can easily be classified into 2 main categories, where one group focuses on efficiency while the other has its attention on responsiveness. Those under the efficient supply chain model include the continuous fast chain and efficient chain models. These 3 focuses on being able to continuously flood the market with products for the consumer to slather their love with. Most prominently, this management style is common in the fast fashion industry. This management style is also heavily reliant on the efficiency of the vendors. The quicker they supply the raw materials, the quicker these companies are able to provide the products to the public. The other 3, namely the agile, custom configured and flexible models, cater more to organizations that can provide products depending on what the client needs, regardless of what it is. Which is why companies that fall under this management style can supply one product one week and a different item the other. It all depends on why it is requested from them. This is also the reason why it is more prone to mistakes, and it can be quite costly, especially if the staff are untrained or undertrained to craft different kinds of products. There are also others who run on a hybrid system, which combines the best of both styles, and these have in fact become very productive and beneficial to companies such as McDonald's, Amazon, and Unilever, to name a few. Common problems in managing a supply chain. Managing supply chains, just like any complex systems, can be problematic. When done well, there shouldn't be a problem. However, not every situation is ideal, and problems will arise, and some of the more common ones include: 1. Supply chains are almost always vague. Supply chains have always been clouded because of its lack of a central tracking system. Every company uses a different program which might not be able to transfer data to another. Without centrality, true optimizations can never be achieved. Companies just do what they can to ensure their operations efficiency, and that is why screening vendors is a very important step, because all you can do as a company is trust that they will deliver on their word and what is written in a contract. 2. Plans that go astray. As mentioned, there are things that are beyond our control. That is why we plan contingency after contingency, because if we don't have a backup plan, significant losses abound, and worse, recovery from the loss might become difficult. 3. Developing poor relationships. Good relationships are necessary in any business. This is one of the reasons how loyal patronage is developed. Unfortunately, even the slightest mistake can cause a disruption to this dynamic, especially nowadays when other options are readily available. No matter how carefully planned your supply chain is, problems like these may eventually arise. It is only a matter of being able to absorb the blow and deal with it in a manner that you can recover from. At the very least, learn from it so that you do not have to deal with it again in the future, or if you do, you will know how to get through it. Supply chains are vital in a well-run organization. Each phase is an essential step in building an eventual empire. It is a lot of work. However, through hard work and the occasional trial and error, you will be able to establish what system works best for you, and there is nowhere else but to go up. However, it is also important that it is sustainable enough that it can be brought into the long term. Although regular review with the organization's policies, as mentioned above, is always welcome, because change is the only constant, and to survive any time, your organization needs to undergo its own change. If you like this video, give us a like so we can make more videos like this one, and tell us in the comment section below what type of videos you want. Lastly, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more weekly videos.